And KT need to tighten it up.
They definitely do.
Too many of these games have gone awry in the early game. It doesn't matter how resilient you are, how great your play is in the late game. If you're fighting at 6,000 gold behind, I don't think that's your winning strategy or your game plan at all.
Well, KT have chosen second pick here, so we are going to just have regular League of Legends, as the Varus and the Rumble are both going to be banned away. A lot of flexibility in the bans, as I think that only Varus and Rumble are really the mandatory ones. So the Ashe going to be taken, the Lucian going to be taken. We're just going to be targeting a few of the things that haven't necessarily been addressed, like the Lucian Melio and the Seraphine Ashe.
Yunara and Corki have been the best champions at LazyFeel across his career. And Lucian is one that is his third most played this season, which is now banned away from him. I'm curious what he will end up ultimately going towards in this third and final game.
Yeah, I feel like the Caitlyn stocks are up pretty high.
They definitely are.
Is Trundle going to be taken away here? And
Okay,
the Nocturne going to be
Nocturne.
the response.
First pick. It's not an easy one. A lot of the blind picks we used to see really often are gone here.
Yeah, and a lot of the strong stuff has already been picked, right? So
Annie's gone, the Aurora's gone, Orianna, usually not picked in most series, also gone.
And no one really bans or plays Azir anymore, so
It's
that's
just the
gone.
Caitlyn that you talked about. I think this makes sense.
I think this is probably the best choice.
It's been a pretty unusual set of drafts here, so that's where we end up heading, as Aiming will need to respond to this lane. And maybe they want to play a Nautilus Misfortune lane or something like that, just to try to be able to all-in this. Okay,
Ooh,
or just Neeko, Ezreal, because Ezreal... Oh, no, Ezreal is banned. Yeah, he was banned and played in Game 1 by LazyFeel already.
What is the AD carry that Aiming is going to be able to
Neeko
play?
Jhin.
Neeko Samira. Neeko Jhin would
Samira
make
exists.
sense.
I forgot about that.
Cuzz might just lock away a jungler here. They don't need to pick up an AD carry if they don't want to. You could just grab whichever jungler you feel is highest on the tier list, and the Naafiri's pretty high up there.
This does weaken a Twisted Fate pick for Ucal as well.
True.
Pretty strong engage opportunities in this draft to get on top of the Caitlyn, especially in the mid game. What's the lane partner? Is it just going to be Lux? I feel like it can be in this draft because so much is removed already.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. You also have a fair bit of power, and there it is. We've seen this really coming back into fashion, as Keria obviously the one to start it, but we've had other players delving that way as well. Career, I believe, having the most recent success on the champion.
So many answers to Cassante are removed and can be banned. Some of the answers can be banned as well in the second phase, including the Vayne, unless Perfect locks it right here. And it is going to be Jhin Neeko, which is sad but not surprising, I think.
No, I think that this bottom lane is going to be quite hard for KT.
I think so too. Although we have seen, again, LazyFeel and Andil struggle in a lot of matchups. This one feels like it'd be pretty hard to mess it up. And yes, there's a really strong setup in these two champs with the Jhin so far. But I think he's going to need more than that, which means Perfect needs to be on a champ that can engage. But then they need damage from their mid laner. So many conditions have been created in this draft. Whereas I look at the Kiwoom DRX side, I'm like, wow, for the tier list, they got the best ones left. And that's kind of problematic, as they can protect this Cassante in the second ban phase as well. And targeting Willer might be the game plan here for KT Rolster, but it is a little bit weird at this point in time. Like banning Lee Sin is what most teams do. Yeah. This is the ban where you're like, well, he doesn't have a lot of options. This is probably the best safe one. I guess we'll take it away.
Yeah, just keep going down the list, I guess. I mean, there are a lot of junglers that have already been taken away. Is the Vayne going to be removed as an option for Perfect here? I think that protecting the Cassante is what makes the most sense at this stage of the draft.
Vayne Tristana?
Yeah, could just get rid of those.
They could ban like BDD's Mel. Could
Mel
be a thing, because Mel feels pretty good with this draft for KT. And
one more ban.
It's hard to ban jungles here. I guess Skarner is pretty high tier.
I mean, it's the last one left.
I mean, when I look at the bans of KT, it's like, well, there aren't that many meta jungles left. Let's get them. Whereas I look at the draft here for Kiwoom DRX, and they're actually making meaningful, directed, pointed bans to keep this Cassante in a very playable state in the top lane, and they have a winning bottom lane. Just feels like their bans are more impactful. That said, we'll see what Willer ends up getting here, because the The options are very, very limited.
And Bessa going to be the takeaway. Perfect not going to be playing that one. Will they just lock in their Cassante answer here? I would expect that should be happening.
Or Yorick, maybe? Ooh. Zaahen has been one of the ones that Perfect has enjoyed more than anyone else in this matchup. He had that crazy solo kill on a Dudu earlier on this year.
Yeah.
Which was...
He's looked very good on the champion.
And it's very good with Jhin. Poppy was a jungler I didn't really have on my mind.
I like this a lot. Willa can really go toe-to-toe, provides an extra front line as there's the blind Cassiopeia to come down for Ucal. BDD, how are we going to be able to outrange it as Effort thinks that Nasus is the way?
Hwei or Mel, or does he have something else in mind?
Hwei does make some sense, you know, just keep her at range. And
works well with the front line that they have.
All right.
I do like how KT figured their way out through the second phase here. I was very worried that the options were going to be limited in how they tie this together. I think the Zaahen was a big miss for me, to apologize to everyone. I feel like that should have been a pretty obvious angle, in fact, given how many times Perfect has played this into the Cassante this year and looked great on it and how good the matchup is. And then the Hwei is one of BDD's favorites, but it is going to be quite vulnerable in this draft, especially before the Zaahen really becomes truly online. And if the Hwei doesn't get ahead, and this Jhin doesn't get off the ground, I do feel like the Caitlyn is going to have a great time. Ucal's Cassiopeia can do great. And like you mentioned, the Poppy is really quite a nice X factor here. With the jungle bans coming through, it's almost like he would have picked it anyways.
Yeah, I feel like the KRX draft just looks better, right? If you're going to be playing front to back, it just feels like a better way to win the game. However, KT, they have a lot of tools. The Naafiri can avoid the Poppycopter relatively effectively with the W. Things like this, there are tools that they can utilize. The problem is, I feel like, once again, they require an extra layer of finesse to make this one work, and they are also hoping that they can get a very fast snowball in this game. And it's Kiwoom DRX that have all the momentum moving into this one. And so KT, they're going to have to knuckle down. They're going to have to try and bounce back. Let's see whether they can do it to get Cuzz that 400th win.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, KT fans have erupted here in Chichidik World Park to make sure that KT knows that they're watching, that they're supporting, and that they'd prefer not to go home depressed today.
Zaahen gets that extra auto, so he actually deletes the ward.
Hey, there you go.
That was a good start here for Perfect. Huge gold lead as well.
Massive. As actually, Rich and Perfect just fighting one another. Kiwa's going to get charged up. I don't think Perfect is too worried about it.
It's a really good matchup for the Zaahen because the Cassante can't really threaten him early, and both of them do such low damage as, oh, hold that thought.
Yeah, Amy gonna have to try and run out of this one. I mean, this is what this lane's going to look like. The Peacemakers would prefer to be landing, but even so, it doesn't really matter too much as the Lux gonna absolutely outrange the Neeko.
She does damage, she slows, makes it easier for LazyFeel to hit those Peacemakers, but also just helps them clear the wave. Like, it's really, really quite potent, and if the binding ever hits, the trap comes down. We're looking at level 2 in just a moment here, and that will be what comes next. So aiming and effort do have to respect it. But the Zaahen isn't going to be punished by the Cassante early. They both have to trade aggressively, which means the Zaahen passive stacks, which makes it very easy for him to continue to fight, which is what we saw Perfect do when he had that solo kill earlier this year in this matchup. Willer's coming down here at level 3, early game Poppy ganks with a dominant lane. Name a more iconic duo.
That is a pretty high-value ward that Aiming just puts down there. Is immediately going to get cleared. Cuzz knows that there are bad guys in his jungle. Might be able to get down here to stop that Gromp from falling. Looks like a dive is on the mind still, though, even 3v3.
Some skill shots are missing, alive, and that does help.
Oh, Cuzz just bounces on top of Willa like ships in the night. They're just going to wander around one another. There's a heroic charge as if these Qs connect, Willa will be taking a fair bit of damage here. And it looks like he is just going to vacate the area. Things getting a little too scary.
Here comes the next wave. And unfortunately, like you say, Cuzz can't come down here and impact this. Effort is trying to back, gets his back stopped. BDD also fairly low. This is just a really intense amount of pressure Kiwoom DRX are putting on early.
Yeah, what is happening here? Is Cuzz and Willer are just going back and forth.
I think this favors the two winning lanes, though. Like, if he just says, I'm not going to farm and I'm not going to let you do anything, then these two lanes are going to push and we're both not going to farm, but I'm going to keep generating leads. So ultimately, KT kind of pinned down here as Willer will eventually relinquish that pressure and let his bottom lane back with a 12 CS lead, grab the scuttle, and will likely turn it into double scuttle with the prio they have linked up in mid. BDD already looking for his first TP back, and Willer's actually going to be able to answer.
Oh no, this is not where you want to be teleporting, and he has to watch it happen for so long. The fear does come in though, as now Willer in a very awkward spot. Oh man, if he had taken another turret shot, he was just dead. That was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was very weird, the charge he went for there. Not the right angle, perhaps a misclick. Or maybe he was trying to flash set it up and he, I don't know.
Yeah, BDD flashing, I think, was before he pressed the button. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
I think that's what happened.
The wrong way.
But BDD did have to flash. He just came back to lane. Now Ucal comes back with full health. Cuzz is going to be able to come over here and take away some of Willer's jungle after that little mishap. So that's a good small little win here for the Doggos.
Yeah, but there's an entire top side for Willer to clear through, so he ultimately will be at a decent lead. Or after the clear does come on in, as never mind.
He's just going to go straight back in and do a Cuzz.
Yeah, Cuzz has a pickaxe as he makes his way back. If he does find Willer, he's going to have a pretty decent stat advantage. And does just walk his way in.
No smite for either.
Yeah, the Raptor secured for Cuzz. All right, meanwhile, fight here towards his bottom side is now aiming, trying to sidestep the Peacemaker once again. Does do so quite nicely as he's finished reloading now. The barrier is timing out. The KT, I think they've ran out of ergs, and that is going to be the snare to connect. Oh, there's Deadly Flourish to flash forward, and Andil's going to go down. The 2v2 kill, but LazyFeel wants to find one back, and he will be able to get it as now effort. Can you get enough damage onto this Caitlyn? And I think the answer is yes, as the Blooming Burst will make it a 2-for-1.
Massive amounts of minion aggro there. Helps him take out LazyFeel. So advantage KT as the dust settles here, and a bit of an overextension and trying to outplay there from Kiwoom DRX that just kind of falls flat. So we saw a lot of skill shots miss throughout this early game here with the Lux and the Caitlyn. As Andil will show back up to this lane, but this is like Andil takes half of his health bar here, gets rooted and shot by the Jhin, and then they want to still try to push this. And I just don't agree with the choice. They know aiming doesn't have barrier because he took cleanse. They have enough resources here, and then even with the heal coming through, this root hits. And the bounce does land. Then LazyFeel has to make something of this, so he does take aiming out. This is the correct play, but there's so many minions that he picks up aggro-wise here. He cannot actually turn this into two. And effort will finally land that final shot to take him out.
Yeah, it was very nicely played there from KT, and they needed something like this to happen because this Caitlyn Lux could really get out of control if they allowed it. But as you can see, they've only taken one plate so far, and KT's bottom lane feeling pretty good about the state of the game for the moment. Still, I mean, it's not over by any means, as KRX's composition does scale pretty nicely as we get later and later into the game. Obviously, there is the slump for the Caitlyn.
Yeah, also, like, you know, they're going to continue to win this lane for a little bit longer. Just because a Dirk gets picked up here for aiming doesn't mean that the advantages and the way the lane 2v2 plays out is just completely neutralized. Also, top side here, you know, Rich is having a bit of a struggle into this. Zaahen Perfect is playing it well, as we kind of expected. It's just one of his best champions right now, although he plays it rarely. BDD also in a bit of a deficit at the moment, after what happened with that early flash.
Ucal is playing very well. Ever since game number 1, has certainly turned things around. And BDD looking a little out of sorts, but we'll be able to at least pick up waves, and he's a Hwei, so eventually, he'll just be able to one-shot them.
Pick up waves?
Waves, indeed.
No one's ever made that joke, so I thought I'd be the first.
I appreciate it. LazyFeel and Andil are getting pushed in as Caitlyn Lux Wolf. This is not how it's supposed to go.
They did lose a lot of tempo, and now aiming has ult. They need to be very careful. If any flourish connects, they might actually just get all-in.
Well, aiming is just going to get netted on here by LazyFeel. Peacemaker does not connect as Willa looking to rotate over. Cuzz is there to pick it up, but it's Willa with a buckler to take down the Jhin. An overextension from KT in the bottom lane is going to throw that lead away.
I mean, it looked like they were setting up to make something happen where they get a flourish in, go for the open up of the aiming ultimate. Cuzz was on his way down, so I thought that was advantage KT. They were pushing for the edge there, but then aiming just waited for an opportunity that wasn't going to come, and then LazyFeel just kind of started using his hands, you know? He's coming out of the lane early here, well, within the lane itself, but in terms of the mechanics, right? Like, LazyFeel is so good when it comes to team fighting, his kiting, right? Just his AD carry mechanics are really good, and in that moment, he's like, all right, well, aiming's actually in range of me, and he cannot get away. I'm just going to keep chasing him. Willer is there. The buckler comes through. And KT, the woes continue a little bit here. As they had control, and at this moment it looks like, okay, they're trying to maybe get Effort 6. Aiming wants to hit a flourish, and then here it's like, oh, they're split. And LazyFeel's like, Effort can't apply anything. He cannot get 6. There's nothing he can actually do. So I'm just going to keep chasing. Ult gets blocked here by Cuzz, but Willer still taxis and hits him with the buckler.
Oh, curtain call. There's aiming. Sniping Andil. Not entirely sure how we got to that position, but okay. We are back to KT having a pretty good time in the bottom lane.
You know, I think maybe some Kiwoom fans have that meme, the Twitter meme, like, context? What happened here? Why did this occur?
Need a bit.
We will need to find out exactly how. But that's kind of what I was talking about. They were trying to set up moments before, except it did not work out, as BDD is going to clear this wave rapidly like you were talking about, and...
Oh, misses a cannon.
Unlucky.
That's not exactly the greatest feeling. KT do have a very slight gold advantage, but most of the gold is actually on Ucal and Willa. Mid-jungle, going to have to once again get the work done here for Kiwoom DRX.
You're kind of jumpy on the observing cam right now, as we did miss this opening salvo here, so it's just Andil getting caught, flourished.
Sometimes you're not allowed to put wards down.
But if they had set this up earlier, you know, onto LazyFeel, they would have been able to win the fight, but LazyFeel chased them down. This time it works out. And BDD still behind, but still going to be relevant, as this next dragon is up in 3.5 minutes. Grubs haven't been taken yet this game, and it's all focused on the bottom lane right now, where all of the action has been.
Well, in the meantime, I mean, we did have a trade of ultimates in the top lane as well, while a whole bunch of that stuff was happening. Not really much of a result from that, as both of these top laners still have their flashes, as we can see. There's still that minuscule lead for Perfect, but Rich not going to be too worried about that one. And some more plates now starting to go down.
All right, here comes Cuzz as well. Okay, no, so that was just fake. I just got totally trolled by the Neeko, as we often do. But Cuzz is on the top side.
The spirit of Cuzz.
Willer is here, and they are going to continue to pressure this while these grubs are being taken by Cuzz. Always feels good when you can deny these from a Caitlyn, but you do need your bottom lane to survive, and so far they are.
Yeah, Pop Blossom is going to come on through. That's a dead Andil again. Nicely played. Willa is not going to quite find the heroic charge, but will get the flash out of aiming. That is great news there. He didn't have to invest his flash for that play.
It's a
now
third
aiming actually
kill.
wanting to come back.
It's a third kill for aiming in this game, despite the Caitlyn matchup, despite the lane going so poorly, or rather the turret plates going over. Like, he's been pushed in. It actually has gone quite well for him, all things considered, but yeah, he is keeping this gold even right now and keeping KT in this game in a big way. Kind of crazy, the Jhin value from him so far. I mean, again, living up to his name, but easy to aim when the enemies are locked up in CC.
And Cuzz is also able to eliminate this entire top side of the jungle, noticing that Willa is there towards the bottom side, so doesn't lose too much from Willa being inside his jungle for a large amount of time, as Ucal doesn't find the Petrifying Gaze. That is going to be the ulti out from BDD, but he is still very dead, ladies and gentlemen. The burn would have been enough, but Ucal finds the Twin Fangs and sinks them in. That is a nice kill with the help of Andil there as well. This is the power point for Kiwoom DRX.
Crazy. All right, so down here, Andil just gets caught. I don't know why. I guess he, okay. I didn't see why he was walking forward at the time he went over there. He just wanted to hit a binding onto an ulting Jhin because he's like, oh, he can't move. I should hit this. Unfortunately, he was then engaged on, and that was a bit bizarre. BD here gets caught by Andil on the roam. So Andil, bit of a oopsie in the bottom lane, but a bit of a success play here in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And he giveth and he taketh away.
BDD was at least, you know, able to get an ult off, but it wasn't able to do very much damage at all. The Rod of Ages is now completed for Ucal. Wanted to get towards that Seraphs as fast as possible. And 1,000 gold in the lead, the largest of the game. Will belong to Ucal.
I think that while aiming is doing really well, all things considered, and effort has helped set him up for a lot of success, there's a bigger problem in the mid lane that needs to be answered. And this Caitlyn is still going to be functional. This Cassante is still going to be functional. And it's a small gold lead he's holding. I think aiming alone on this Jhin isn't your guy if you're KT. You're going to need something else to open up here. You're going to need a skirmish to go well. You're going to need to see BDD or Cuzz really get online here. Otherwise, this deficit could be damning.
Oh, there's an all-out for Rich, who just gets underneath the turret and takes 2 turret shots. Pop Blossom finds the minion wave, and there's the light binding to answer. And Cuzz needs to save his support. BDD is also dying in this mid lane one more time as Ucal gets those fangs out. And it's 4-4 the kill score, but Kiwoom DRX are the ones trading up in so many of these exchanges.
Yeah. Bit of a moment here where Cuzz isn't able to impact this bottom 2v2. They wanted to get something back as he wasn't able to defend BDD. Aiming, trying to bait something here.
Yeah, effort as well is very, very low, but you can see Andil and LazyFeel take a fair bit of damage here from this KT bottom lane. Volatility is the aim of the game here today.
Just think that you got to be careful here if you're aiming, trying to force these plays. You're the only relevant member left on this team. You do not want to also fall behind. But because you're the only relevant member, you're like, I got to try to make something happen. Their jungler just went mid, and now he's going to go ahead and take this second dragon of the game. Will be one apiece. Ucal holding the line here as Cuzz cannot enter. Ucal is so far ahead.
Wait a second. Aiming just going to walk behind them. LazyFeel very far away from this fight, but nets into the back of the dragon pit. Can Effort actually find an angle? That is going to be the question as the snare is going to connect. Willer is going to survive. That's a steal from Cuzz! And now the curtains have been called. A lot of targets to throw these bullets at as Ucal would be so valuable. And there's a double for BDD. Maybe he's just rocketed back into relevance here this game. As Amy gets another snipe. And now maybe he looks for another one. Deadly Flourish tags Ucal. The miasma goes down, but Effort is still here, corralling the snake.
You looking for the snipe?
Oh dear, the snipe doesn't quite connect. Ucal walking very quickly and will be allowed to survive.
Well, that's the end of the good news, though, as KT rocket back into a strong position here. I thought for sure moving into this dragon, they were not going to be able to contest. But they use their range incredibly well. We're going to go super far back. Yeah, like maybe I don't want to see. I don't want like I want to see the dragon fight, but if when we go into the dragon fight, we're going to miss something in live because of this. But either way, we'll watch BDD die here. Pretty simple stuff. Ucal commandingly increases his lead. But here, look at the difficulty of entry for Cuzz. But they kind of bait Kiwoom DRX here quite a lot. The ultimate does connect onto the Hwei, but they actually just kind of then disengage, give BDD some time to come back here. Cuzz initially is able to avoid a lot of this damage, flash forward here. And look at this timing. He gets the smite steal. Now BDD is back when the aiming opens up. So mission accomplished, but also they get exit kills because of the long range here of both BDD and aiming. And they work together so well in tandem. LazyFeel pathing here. Not sure about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if he really would have lived either way, but he definitely didn't live that way.
No, that was not the safe approach to anything at all in that moment. Although there were a lot of KT sort of closing in at all angles.
Maybe he wanted to try to sacrifice himself to get the rest of the team out, but either way, did not work out. And KT now take a gold lead for the first time in this game, but they have double dragon into Mountain Soul again.
Yeah, another Mountain Soul this game. Kind of crazy. Would be phenomenal if KT were able to pick that one up. But Kiwoom DRX, I think, also use it incredibly well.
Yeah, they use it even better, I would say.
Yeah, I think giving KT some form of tankiness is what it achieves. Making Rich and Willer unkillable is what it achieves on the other side.
Absolutely. But if Kiwoom DRX start to stack these up, and this Poppy, Cassante get their hands on it, not to mention Cassiopeia, it can get pretty crazy. Also, denying all that long-range poke with the shield would feel really nice. As we're having a bit of a fight here around this blue buff, KT really want to find their way in. Perfect does not have TPs proxying the wave right now. We're not going to see either top laner join this skirmish. It's just straight up KT trying to continue with this prio they have right now and the tempo they've taken away. Effort.
Shave Splitter comes in. Andil not going to be in too much trouble this time around. Does have his item rocked though. As now, this is the real Cuzz. But isn't going to be able to find any daggers onto Willer, who just wanders his way out. Mid lane is migrated towards the top side of the map. Should still be good for Ucal, but that gold lead is slowly getting chipped down by BDD. And it just feels like we are on the verge of like a full-blown fight at all times here in this game.
Absolutely agree. Cuzz is looking for the wraparound here. They want to make something happen. Willer is there, though. And the siege continues. A little bit of a steal.
That's very frustrating.
And harass as well onto the Caitlyn.
Cuzz is very annoyed about what happened in the early game. It's okay, BDD also making his presence known down here as Cuzz in a lot of trouble, goes untargetable though. And now the turret is going to get tanked up by another member of KT, and Cuzz makes it out. Steadfast presence was very good though to deny the ultimate from this Naafiri.
Andil losing sums. KT pushed their gold lead up to 1,000 here. By no means out of the woods, but 2 items on aiming here has a huge lead in this game.
Yeah, he's
and the
Hwei,
Hwei, you know, is behind Ucal, but the lead has shrunk significantly, and it doesn't necessarily matter if he's behind if he can just outrange and constantly do more valuable poke damage in these fights, and this wave clear will make him relatively safe inside. So this turret with Crystalline Overgrowth also on it is probably just going to go down.
Yep, that will be the charge, and they will be able to take down Shelly.
Okay, not quite.
Yeah, so the turret is, yeah, that's still dead. The minions were enough to take that one out. Ucal here cleans up the bottom lane. Rich doing the same thing towards the top side. Homework complete. This is perfect once again, just going to hang out underneath or behind the enemy turret.
Every time I look at the game state and I try to think I can quantify it and explain what these two comps are trying to do, I just realized that neither of these teams are playing perfect League of Legends, and it is wild and wacky, and I feel like I'm watching a Challengers game, because you know what should happen, but what could happen is what keeps happening, it feels, is aiming is walking very aggressively far forward. Rich committed a teleport here for this dragon. They do not want to give over Soul Point.
Yep.
Perfect also has his TP, but he's going to wait and see if he likes it or not.
I don't know whether I like that play, as Rich does get ulted here by BDD. Effort is going to get queued back, but Rich is so incredibly low.
Zaahen on 2 items, by the way.
Yeah, Perfect is just going to dive into this backline. There's a Grim Deliverance, and Ucal is his target. Didn't only find one with his ultimate there, and now Perfect is going to be able to hunt him down. The flash away from Willa. He's running incredibly quickly, and Cuzz flashes after Ucal. Ucal is still bleeding, but I think he is going... Oh, never mind, the last tick's going to do it! And it's curtains for the bottom lane as well, as the flash has to be invested from LazyFeel. There's the team fighting from KT that we learned about in round 1!
Yeah, and that was absolutely brilliant from KT. They ran circles around Kiwoom DRX. Perfect waited for his angle. He was like, I'm not sure if this is going to be the angle I can find. I'm not sure if I'm going to join this team fight. We'll wait and see. We have Double Dragon. We don't have to force. We're ahead. And it will be triple dragon for them now and Soul Point, but he TP's behind, and they get the collapse there onto Ucal. Flashes for the fall. I mean, it's just brilliant play here as Willer's trying to play body card, but they're just so split. And KT are like, all right, this is perfect for us because we have so much range. BDD and Aiming can chunk on this side of the fight, while Perfect comes on the other side. So Rich is at less than half, and then his opposition in Perfect shows up, gets a knock-up onto Ucal. Follow flashes here over the wall. Ucal cannot escape. And LazyFeel and Andil are just trying to layer damage through, but this fight is never going to be winnable. They should have left earlier, frankly. And they're going to lose Andil for it. Doesn't have flash. They lose LazyFeel's flash in the follow-up, as you can see here. Jhin ultimate connects. LazyFeel is not going to get hit by that, but man, he is now more vulnerable after losing his flash. He has IE picked up, but this game state is not going to be a great one to use it.
No, it's going to be a pretty rough one here for LazyFeel. It's only second item IE as well. Kind of want 4 items, really, if you want to feel strong in this game.
If you are a Kiwoom DRX fan, you're looking at Ucal right now. You're looking at that rod completing. You're looking at the fact that this Cassiopeia is going to do big numbers if set up here. You still have a Cassante, even though he's slightly behind in this game, to frontline for you. And Ucal's performances as of late have been crazy good. So that's your real hope, your real saving grace here, is this Caitlyn will get out of the trough eventually. Does have an IE. I think it's all eyes on Ucal if they're going to get the comeback win here in this final game.
Yeah, he will move to a 2-level advantage very soon as well, as that Rod of Ages is completing. So BDD gonna have to be a little bit careful here. See whether they can get a team fight set up though. 3.5 minutes is going to be the next Drake. As speaking of setups, there are the curtains, as Andil once again going to be the target of aiming, but he does cancel it. The rest of Kiwoom DRX were closing in.
Sieging, though, this top turret the whole time. Willer going in?
Yeah, does find an angle here as there is a charm used from aiming. Final Spark is going to get tanked up as there is effort finding the air with his Pop Blossom. Ucal will still be taken down, though, as Cuzz is going to trade his life for it. And aiming, just barely living, and he's just going to die. Buckler to the head is going to secure it once again as Perfect. He might need to ult to get himself out of this one, and he does so. As KT, I mean, it was not the cleanest.
No, it was not a win, really, frankly, either. They ended up giving over 2 in this exchange. And they could have just continued to siege and look for that turret. The proactive play was there from Kiwoom, and
this
is looking for a bit of a flank?
That is definitely a flank that he's looking for. Let's see whether he can actually find anyone, or whether he actually wants to. As Perfect was in the vicinity, no ulti available. An odd maneuver, to say the least.
What has happened to KT Rolster Atlas?
I'm just confused about a lot of the things that are going on here, but they were looking for an angle, they didn't find it. This was also really well played.
This is the proactivity that you need to have as Kiwoom in these types of situations. Like, if you just sit back, BDD gets the top turret. BDD, by the way, eats a ton of turret damage there for no reason. They do end up getting the kill onto Ucal. That's the most important member, but aiming doesn't have flash, and they're way too deep in enemy territory. Without Willer's aggressive play there, they just lose the top turret and get collapsed on, but instead he comes in way faster, and even in the chase here, they get Perfect ult over the wall. And he doesn't have flashback yet for that dragon fight, or from that dragon fight, rather.
Oh god.
Speaking of Perfect.
Yeah, Ucal does a lot of damage. Will be able to put a real dent into Perfect there, takes down the outer turret.
This game is dead even. It's just straight up dead even. And KT have 3 dragons. That is the huge edge they have in a small 1,000 gold lead. But I think this is anyone's game to take in terms of positioning, in terms of setting up these fights. The Caitlyn is behind, but it's still a Caitlyn into a Jhin, where the Jhin needs a lot of setup. And if KT just can't nail the setup, which has been hit or miss here, can be quite problematic. They have a fragile set of glass cannons that shoot from far away. I think Perfect has to be the glue that holds it all together. There's also Effort here who hasn't died yet on this Neeko and has been having a great game. 9 out of 10 KP.
Yeah, and has actually gone with a QSS as well to make sure that he is not CC'd in any of these moments, maybe holding on to that bounty that is the largest in the game, which just blows my mind.
That is kind of crazy, but bounties we don't always understand.
I mean, I'm used to that 8 being in the middle column when it comes to Neeko. You know, like so many of our Neekos, even the good ones, do tend to throw their lives away in a lot of these fights.
30 seconds till this dragon spawns. And the prio belongs to KT. Bit of a bottom side control here for the side of Kiwoom DRX, where they're going to look to collapse. If they can get Cuzz to jump into the air early before the fight breaks out, that would be huge, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Willer going very aggressive.
Yeah, find some doggos. As Rich, looking for the angle here, he's going to get feared back as BDD catches up to him.
Ucal might want to TP into this fight. There's a timing here.
Yeah, he's actually just going to walk over by the looks of things. There's a also TP angle here for Perfect.
Kiwoom DRX actually kind of outpoking at this point in time. I mean, you see that poke land here for KT. They have the stronger outranging comp, and Ucal is here. He showed up.
Teleport back from Rich as well. As the Pop Blossom is going to look for the angle there. They look to get on top of Ucal, and they've surrounded him. He flashes out of the way of the Deadly Flourish, but Perfect, he dives in. And now Willer is going to be going down as well. The grim deliverance of perhaps the series win from Perfect as he looks to get on top of LazyFeel, gets into the back line, and gets the knock up to take him down. It's Cuzz that finishes him off. But man, this KT top laner is doing work. And now only Andil and Rich left to try and salvage this game. They did manage to get the kill onto Cuzz, but ultimately looking fantastic for KT with now probably a Mountain Soul.
Mountain Soul, and I think the game with it very likely in their hands. Ucal cannot gain entry. And I think instead of trying to greed to save teleport here for the most important dragon fight of the game, he should have, when they had prio, teleport to Banana Brush so they could protect him and keep him in the center where he could do his damage. He does practically nothing in this fight as there's a flank from Andil. From Effort, and the rest of the team follows up and kills him instantly. And Rich is trying to do work here, trying to help Andil salvage something out of this, but it is just not going to happen. Even though Cuzz dies, Dragon should in life be taken by KT Rolster, and it is.
Yep, there's the Mountain Soul.
It's just small calls like that from Ucal that can cost you everything. You're the most important member, and you just got walked on because you decided, oh, I'll probably be able to close the gap. I can link up. It just didn't happen.
I have to say, it was really expertly played by KT, though. Like, the best thing to do against the Cassiopeia is come at her from every angle, right? Because then she has no good direction to ult in, and someone is going to be able to get on top, as now the poke damage is landing. They are looking for BDD, though, as the final spark comes in. The all-out actually saves BDD, potentially, as finally Rich is able to take it down, but does need to sacrifice himself in order to do so. And now Cuzz gets in range for the ulti. Willer catches him out of the air, though, and Cuzz might be in trouble. He's going to get taken down, as this time Ucal's able to do damage. And a little bit of overzealousness here for KT.
What is happening? KT dropping the ball in a big way. Aiming was not hit by that Poppy ultimate, luckily for them, but it's still not enough to save them.
Oh, Deadly Flourishes. It's not over yet. We are still fighting. As Aiming looking for a bit of a wraparound. And Kiwoom DRX, they did lose their top laner, but a 2-for-1. You'll take that absolutely in this moment, as they pull the gold back by almost 1,000, actually.
Into a Mountain Soul. Pretty amazing stuff here that Kiwoom DRX are able to stay in it. Positionally, a little bit split up right now for KT, right? BDD trying to offer some damage back. There's a lot of burst coming through. Then Rich with Andil are able to take BDD out of this fight. Rich does have to sacrifice himself in order to do so, but that's a trade I think Kiwoom DRX are happy to take. Look at this ult here, knocking the Neeko away, and then Cuzz, it's pulled so far back. Willer just traps him there, and now this is just no longer a winnable fight here for KT. Numbers disadvantage.
Just feels like Poppy is so good into Naafiri. It's just not really working out in a lot of these fights. However, KT managed to find a good one before. Maybe just get out of the way of the Poppy and things are going to work. Good sidesteps there from Effort, who's honestly had a great day today. BDD will find this ulti as Willer is looking to try and get over the wall. There's a Pop Blossom, connects onto one. It's only Andil though, but they're going to take that. Cuzz looking for the angle.
Rich
not quite able to do so. Okay, Rich gets in with a huge shield and goes all out into the backline. Aiming is wiped out. Cuzz is dead as well. LazyFeel might be going down, but oh, never mind. He kills BDD and he's looking to kite. Perfect. He gets snared. Andil locks him down. An ace in the hole for LazyFeel, the hero of Kiwoom DRX. They get an ace and they'll get a Baron.
Ace in the hole, ace on the rift. Kiwoom DRX with a clean one, and they're going to take the Baron. They take a gold lead back, and KT Rolster are falling apart fast. As Rich here on this flank angle just demolishes Kiwoom DRX, or sorry, KT Rolster as they push forward. KT are trying to force in this choke point. Cuzz has already used his escape. And watch Rich come through here with the final spark damage. And my man, Rich! BDD on the left side here cannot get away. LazyFeel with the insane kiting takes out his opposition Effort, and then Perfect cannot close the gap. Looks for the impale but doesn't get it. And he is also then zapped down. A clean ace for Kiwoom DRX. Some of the best League of Legends we have seen this team play all year long.
Oh, Joker losing his mind right now, as you could understand. And KT well and truly on the ropes at this stage of the game as Willer looks to get that heroic charge down. BDD wants to get on in here, as here is the teleport flank angle from the Zaahen.
Perfect angle, could save the game.
Yep, he can avoid the Poppycopter, but the Neeko cannot, so they remove that option. LazyFeel is just dead, and Perfect is now running amok in that backline. Rich is dead as well, and now it's KT's turn to find the angle. Ucal flashes out of the way of the Pop Blossom, but now the kitchen sink will hit him from 1 billion kilometers away, and the snake will be thwarted. Oh god, it's 1.5 minutes away from the Elder, and the Baron was there for Kiwoom DRX. You just had to play slow.
Yeah, they didn't play slow. They got caught by Perfect. Perfect is trying to continue to push this advantage. He's taking so much damage. There isn't any fault for 20 more seconds. LazyFeel is still down, and KT are looking to open up this inhibitor and perhaps get even more. No final spark anymore for Andil.
They do so much damage to these structures.
Yeah, there's a window here for them to just end the game. LazyFeel up in 6 though. I think KT will be happy to get inhibitor before Elder and say goodbye to this Baron power play. It's gone into the negatives here. Let's go back to this play here. It's all about Perfect's flank as Kiwoom DRX have found themselves overextended, and this Poppycopter is unavoidable. But it doesn't matter. Like I just think Perfect gets on top of the Caitlyn. Everyone's split enough that the Poppycopter can't stop everything.
And Effort almost found that angle onto Ucal. But then everything sort of hits him. Cuzz just able to do the Wolves.
I think this is one of those moments where we go from like ecstatic cheering hype to, oh no, we might have just lost this game, but it's all coming down to an Elder flip.
Yeah, still.
Clean ace to one more flip.
I mean, they still have a gold lead, right? Kiwoom DRX still in this game. They have everyone back alive. Is now Cuzz.
Willer's ult
with a flank angle.
Willer's ult could be game defining here potentially, depending on when he uses it and how he uses it.
Yeah, there are a few members that can avoid it.
Huge hit there onto Cuzz.
Yeah, I think getting rid of Effort could be very important, but he has Shape Splitter, so it can be tricky.
Rich with the TP flank.
Yeah, wants to get that big shield back, as now Willer goes in. Does find the ulti just for the knockoff, as Willer looking to try and escape from this one as well. BDD is taken down as Perfect looks for the angle into the backline, and Cuzz gets the ulti. LazyFeel goes down, and Ucal, the last DPS remaining, and he gets on in there, will be taken out, as aiming is gonna die as well. Rich is running amok, finding some angles here, but Perfect is also still alive. His health bar pretty decent, and the main thing is the passive is up. And Effort, he's not going to be able to offer enough as Perfect gets a whole health bar back. And Cuzz and Perfect just want to win the game.
Yeah, they're just going to go try to look for the end. Rich just cannot back. He cannot get home here. 18 seconds until Poppy is back. Perfect's pushing that wave, and 2 super minions here as well. Make it a third. This one survives as Rich.
All right, he might be able to kill Effort. Let's see whether they can take down these Nexus turrets and kill the Nexus as KT.
I think they can.
Yeah, 2 seconds onto Willer, 6 onto the Caitlyn, and the Nexus is now exposed. Cuzz is the one that they need to try and avoid it.
But it's too
Perfect
late.
is going to be there. The teleport in to make sure the KT win it. And man, it was close, but KT will turn this series around and get Cuzz his 400th win. But my God, did they have to work for it.